Okay, just general comments to start off. Obviously thrilled with our performance today. I think first and foremost, the defense stepped up and played. They've had some great halves, some great quarters. I think throughout this season, but the way they played from start to finish today was outstanding. I think they really did a great job of containing the quarterback, Weaver, not giving up the big play, which we stressed all week was really the turning point in last year's game against Butler. So we kept everything in front of us. We rallied to the football. We got pressure on the quarterback. We got turnovers, which has kind of been our Achilles heel on defense. We kept getting better in just about every aspect of the game, but those turnovers seemed to elude us, and we got those, and that was outstanding. That really helped key us. On the offensive side of the ball, we did a very good job executing our game plan, which the best way I could kind of describe it is it's the football equivalent of the four corners offense. We went slow. We wanted to possess the football. We wanted to shorten the game, limit the number of times that Butler would get the ball and their number of possessions. And we did an outstanding job with that. Now, it sounds like it's a very conservative approach, but in fact, it's just the opposite. We wound up going for it 8 times on 4th down, and we knew, going to the game, that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to be in 4th down and manageable situations. And I think the key to that was, even though you look at what we were doing on 3rd down wasn't great, we were 4 of 17. Coach Miran, our offensive coordinator, was making a lot of those play calls to get us to 4th and short, to get us to a 4th down and manageable situation. So that allowed us to do some things offensively and take what the defense gave us, and normally they'd be excited about it. It's 3rd down and 8, and we only get a 5-yard gain, but we were okay with that. And that was a very conscious approach to the game that we had. We felt like if we could get in those situations, we could execute and win most of them. We did, and that helped do an outstanding job of running the clock. And I think we were a 20-minute to 10-minute differential in terms of possession time. And I think that was critical as well, because it kept our defense rested. So when they went out there, when they took the field, it wasn't, they just came off of a 12-play drive, and then they had 3 plays to rest, and then they had to be right back out there. So we did an outstanding job offensively. Now, we were planning on having to do that throughout the entire game. We were kind of put in an unusual situation where we had to become conservative and actually punt a couple of times, which was great to be in that situation, to have a lead and be able to protect that lead. So we did punt a couple of times in the second half, and Ben did a great job with his 2 punts, particularly the one that we downed inside the 1-yard line, and I think he's now had 4 on the year, 4 punts on the year, and 3 of them have been outstanding. He was too good on his 4th. He got hold of it. It went farther than we would have thought. So very pleased with the effort. Special teams stepped up and played a great game. In terms of Jake Newman, our kicker, did a great job with his kickoffs, all of his extra points, the field goal. We did an outstanding job rallying to the football in the times that we did, but there weren't many special team snaps out there to be had, which is a great sign. So a great win. I'm unbelievably proud of this football team, how they've hung in there, the fact that they have not given up. Their effort in practice has been outstanding. Their attitude that they've had through the adversity that we faced, and it's so satisfying to see us have success in the biggest game of the season.
Coach, you talked about the all the fourth down ones. So the biggest one that leaped out to me was the 4th and 1 from your own 47 there in the fourth. Was there ever like any hesitation to go for it in that situation?
No. I mean, we talk about these situations beforehand. Not just between myself and Coach Mirren, our offensive coordinator, but we do it as a whole staff. Our defensive staff knows exactly our situations. They have a say in it, and we do it as an entire staff. And we meet, we go over these situations. So our defensive coaches knew that we were going to go for it.
What made you make that decision to go for it and be so aggressive coming into the game?
Well, I think the number one thing is to keep their offense off the field. We had seen what they had done the week prior against Morehead State, scoring 62 points. Obviously, the 72 points they put up against Valpo a year ago. And you say to yourself, what's the best way to stop an offense? And the answer is to keep them on the sideline. And like I said, our defense stepped up and did an unbelievable job against them for all 4 quarters. But the offense did their part to limit the amount of time the defense had to be out there.
Alex, and I know it's a new year, this team put 72 points on you, and now they put 3 on you. Let's talk about the difference between one and the other.
I probably, like, obviously the difference schematically is we have a different coaching staff. Other than that, I mean, like Coach said, the offense was on the field, the Butler's offense was on the field a lot last year. And that was kind of like a recurring theme last season, was that we would have 80, 85 snaps a game as a defense, which is kind of tough, but I mean, understandable. A lot of defenses do it throughout the country. It's just kind of one of the things you have to roll with. But when your offense, like ours did this year, was continuing drive, 8-minute drives, 5-minute drives that took time off the clock and got us rested, but more importantly, got their offense off the field. When our offense could do that, unlike our offense last year, that just changed the game around completely.
What's your reaction when you see them going for 4th down and getting it over and over and over again? You get to kick your feet up on the sideline?
Oh yeah, I love it. I'm on punt team, so as soon as we're on 3rd down and we get punt in the box, and we see that they go for it on 4th down, we're like, okay, defense is up. And if they don't get it, not a big deal, but if they do, it's great.
There's a lot of standing up and sitting down for you guys, it seems like.
It's all right. It's not bad.
Coach, I just want to ask, so you've been in the situation before where you guys are facing a 4th down and the other team converts it, and it's pretty debilitating. Knowing that you guys are doing that constantly to Butler, what do you think that's doing to their psyche and the fact that you're consistently getting these?
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, if you talk to Coach Moore, our defensive coordinator, he's one of the biggest proponents. You think sometimes the defensive coaches would be like, well, no, let's punt, let's play the field position game. But it's exactly it. It's what it does to an opponent's psyche. It really rattles them. They get up and they stop 3rd down and they feel great about stopping 3rd down, and then here comes 4th down. And when you convert on 4th down, it really eats away at a team's morale.
Ben, just talk about what this game means to play against Butler and beat them.
I mean, it's a huge rivalry game. We talked yesterday, we played over 70 times between the 2 schools. Just being able to come in here and not only get a win for a team that's been dying for one, but to get a win against Butler is that much bigger to us, and it's that much more important.
Tony, in addition to the 4th down play, the biggest play on that last scoring drive was your sort of circus juggling catch. And what went through your mind when you saw the ball in the air?
Well, we called the play a couple times before, and I knew that the ball was going my way previously, so I knew maybe Ben would give me another chance to make a play on it. And I dropped one before, and I wasn't gonna let that bother me before. Coach before in that said, just let it go. With what I did, and he said, just make another play like you've been doing. And I knew that I could make a play, and Ben threw me, threw it in a good spot. I came down with it, so I'm just happy.
That was the same play that Tony scored his touchdown on. So it was feast or famine for me. He went touchdown, and then he dropped the 2nd one, and then the 3rd one he came up and made the circus catch.
Tony, did you have a sense your number would be called a bit more today?
With Tanner down, you never know. Tanner's our best receiver, and with him going down, it's just, hopefully my number gets called, and when it gets called, you got to make the plays. And I made them, hopefully, and I can continue on making them again.
What's this like for you being part of these last few years against Butler?
It's crazy. I've been here. This is my 5th year, and to finally see that helmet and get that helmet, it's amazing. You know, we did it as a team. And, you know, it's a great feeling. And with the new coaching staff, we get to beat Butler. That was one of our main goals. You know, we did it, so we're happy with that.
Coach, I know this game last year sort of marked the end of the last regime. Do you see this as a good starting point for, you know, if you guys eventually will get to where you want to take the program?
Oh, absolutely. And you know, when I was at my first press conference here, I kind of laid out our goal is to win the PFL championship. And that's goal number one, and that'll continue to be our top priority. Goal number two for the program is to beat Butler. You know, it's a fantastic rivalry situation. You've got a rivalry that's unlike any other in the PFL by far, and that makes this place special because you don't have that. At 90% of the schools that are out there doesn't have this type of a rivalry, and whether you know you can throw the records out the window, anybody you know it makes one team's season, it can break you know the opposite team's season. So you know, we're you know, excited to have that opportunity that most teams don't have. They don't have that rival, that special game that they can mark on their calendar year in and year out. And to come away with a victory my first year as a head coach, it's outstanding. It's a great feeling, and particularly you know overcoming you know this football team, you know, kind of erasing the 72-12 loss from a year ago. I give them a lot of credit.
Coach, this is for Coach or any of the players. Some of the PFL wins over Campbell the past couple of years, goal line stand at the very end, quarterback throwing an incompletion on the final play. The game's kind of up in the air. This was a dominant performance, it seemed. Just how does it feel to come away from this knowing that for 60 minutes you guys were the better team on the football field?
Yeah, well, you know, I'll address that by saying we've shown flashes of that. You know, we played 3 quarters toe-to-toe with Campbell this year and had them on the ropes, and then we didn't finish them. I think, you know, the Drake game leading in the fourth quarter and watching that slip away from us. And even the Dayton game last week, you can look at, you know, it got out of hand in the end of the third quarter, but, you know, we were, you know, a 2-point conversion away from tying that game in the second half. The Moorhead game, I felt like we did a great job of outplaying them until the last 5 minutes of the game. So we've shown in almost every single one of our football games the ability to hang with teams that might be a little bit bigger, stronger, or faster than us. But to be able to do what we did for 4 straight quarters against a Butler team that's pretty talented, that's very satisfying. I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that.
I think we said it all.
Just, Alex, what's this? I mean, you just got a big smile right now. Just what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, it's just I mean, you go through off season and you're like, all right, next year's going to be better. Next year's definitely going to change this place around. It's going to be a new place, new era, new coach, staff, which is great. Always positive signs for that. And then you come out, you lose to St. Joe's. And you're like, wow, that hurts. And then you go to William Jewell and you're like, wow, okay, we got that win. And that's when I really thought the turning point was around when Devin got that pick 6 in the second half. And we were down initially in the second half, and then Devin got a pick 6 against William Jewell. I was like, wow, you just feel a difference. And it's a strange feeling, you can't really quantify it, but and then as the season rolled on, you could tell we're always in games. We're leading majority of them. We're just unable to finish defense. We usually play a half. Usually don't show up for another quarter or so. But today is just, we put it all together. It's just kind of crazy. It's different.
Ben, what was it like for you to be on the field against Butler and experience that rivalry?
I mean, I've had the opportunity to do that in past games, but to take all 4 quarters today was something special. You know, between the defensive dominance of the game and offense, I mean, we put together 14 play drives that ate up a lot of clock. It was just, you know, it was just great to get out there and play the game that we knew that we could play for 4 quarters. It was great to finally put that together and see what that made up at the end of the game, which is 17-3 win.
Coach, it looked like Hammond was the only real injury that we could see.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to speak with our trainers, but I believe you're right.
Coach had you, I think you went 57 minutes and 11 seconds before your first penalty. How big of a deal is that?
It was huge. It was great. You know, we've consistently been the least penalized team in the PFL all season long, and you know, that's something that we stress a lot. You know, when you're not going to be the biggest or the fastest or the strongest team, you have to outcoach some teams. You have to outthink them. You have to be the more disciplined team, the team that's in better shape, and the tougher team. You know, in the long run, the team that can handle adversity. And so we've really tried to play on those strengths, knowing that we've got smart football players here. You can ask them to do a lot. You can put a lot on their shoulders, and they're going to show up and give you, 100% every day of practice, and they're going to do everything that you ask of them. And we've had to rely on that strength. You know, this wasn't a game where I don't think Butler was penalized a whole lot of times as well, but in situations, particularly like our offense with this type of game plan, we didn't or couldn't be in a lot of second and 15 or first and 20 type of situations with penalties. And conversely, on the defensive side of the ball, the last thing that we needed to do was give up a first down with a late hit or a pass interference, as well as we were playing. And so it was, that's something that we spend a lot of time talking about. And that's something that hopefully we always will have the advantage, no matter who we're playing.
Tony, this is my last question. Your fifth-year senior, is this one? I mean, this is going to stay with you for a long, long time, right? Does this make everything you've gone through, does it erase a lot of that?
I mean, we'd like to have more wins, but this was a big win for us. Beating Butler is just, it's the rivalry game, and we did it. And finally get to bring the helmet back to Valpo and having it in our arms is awesome. Us celebrating a big team win, it was great. So I mean, yeah, this is definitely could erase a bunch of our losses, but still, we still have 2 more games to play. So we got to continue on winning, and we'll see what happens.
Got to update the logo on the helmet.
That's right.
Of course.
All right, thank you guys.